Hey, I'm John, and welcome to my new channel. I'm going to start off by telling you a little something about me that most do not know. I have a rare condition known as Arnold-Chiari Malformation Type 1, or just simply Chiari Malformation. And I'm not too surprised if you haven't heard of it. In fact, at this time, there are a lot who haven't, and this includes many within the medical field. And maybe it's not that those within the medical field haven't heard of it. It just seems that the knowledge on the subject isn't that vast, which leads them and their patients to be ill-informed on the matter. And in some cases, I think when the doctors were going through school, maybe Chiari was briefly touched on, but since it was once considered a really rare condition, not much is or was known about it. But nowadays, we are seeing more and more cases of the malformation presenting, which leaves the patients in a world of pain. And with the lack of understanding and education on Chiari, there is a whole lot of confusion and misdiagnosis going around. And these are just a few reasons why I've decided to start this channel. I feel that raising awareness of Chiari malformation may help in some way, whether it be with the support of those who are suffering with Chiari, or trying to push the subject into the mainstream may help promote a better understanding of this condition. And hopefully one day there will be a better way of treating the malformation, or maybe even a cure. So let's get started. What exactly is Chiari malformation? So Chiari malformation is a serious neurological disorder where the cerebellum, which is the bottom part of the brain, it descends out of the skull and into the spinal cord area. The malformation applies pressure on both the brain and the spine. It can disrupt the flow of cerebral spinal fluid, and it also causes many symptoms. Chiari at this time is believed to be mostly congenital, which means it is present at birth, but studies have also shown that it can in fact be acquired through stuff like head trauma. And even though a lot are born with it, one may show no signs of the condition for years. In fact, the general onset or diagnosis is believed to be somewhere between the mid-20s and early 30s. And the reason behind some displaying symptoms their whole life and some not feeling the effects until their 30s is unknown. In fact, a person may indeed have the malformation and show no symptoms their entire life. Studies are also showing that it may also run in families. Now, one thing about Chiari is, since it involves the nervous system, symptoms can be numerous and varied. So Chiari can affect each individual differently, making their case unique. But even with the diversity in the symptoms, there are common trademarks that are associated with Chiari. So let's have a look at a few. So the most common Chiari symptom and the hallmark of the condition is the Chiari headache. Chiari headaches are usually described as starting in the back of the head and then sometimes radiating forward and behind the eyes. It's like an intense pressure that can be brought on or aggravated by straining, coughing, sneezing, singing, laughing, and things like that. Those type of maneuvers. It kind of feels like a balloon blowing up inside your head. You can experience a lack of concentration and an all-around feeling of disconnect. I've heard it referred to as a Chiari fog. Studies also show that there appears to be some type of connection between Chiari and migraines, though the nature of the connection is currently unknown. Some more common issues can include fatigue, neck, shoulder, and back pains, vertigo and dizziness, vision and hearing difficulties, muscle weakness, especially in the upper extremities, facial numbness, and nerve damage, coordination problems, breathing, and gait abnormalities. Some will experience a loss of consciousness, and these are often referred to as drop attacks. And in some rare cases, paralysis has been reported. So some secondary complications of Chiari are common as well. Hydrocephalus may be present due to the disruption of the cerebral spinal fluid flow. Basically what hydrocephalus is a buildup of fluid on the brain. Now, often people with Chiari have syringomyelia, which is a chronic disorder that involves the spinal cord. The condition occurs when the cerebral spinal fluid enters the interior of the spinal cord, and it forms a cavity known as a syrinx. Now, this syrinx often expands over time, and it destroys the center of the spinal cord. And now, as the nerve fibers inside the spinal cord are damaged, a wide variety of symptoms can occur, depending upon the size and the location of the syrinx. Another thing I think that needs to be mentioned is that with a large study of people with Chiari, over half of them had depression. Now, research shows that chronic pain can cause depression, and chronic pain depletes the levels of neurotransmitters in the brain, which affects one's mood. Pain and depression, they share the same neurochemical pathways in the brain, so pain can influence mood at the most basic level and vice versa. So let's move on and discuss the diagnosis and treatment. So for most patients, a diagnosis is hard to come by. People tend to go for years battling Chiari without being properly diagnosed. Chiari mimics a lot of symptoms such as migraines, fibromyalgia, and carpal tunnel, among other conditions. Most Chiari patients are in fact often told that they suffer from mental problems and that their symptoms are all in their head, and this can be very upsetting. But most of the time Chiari is found during an incidental MRI. And even so, if you're not talking with a specialist after the find, with the lack of knowledge on the subject, even within the medical field, you are often left without the answers you need concerning your malformation. So, as far as treatment is concerned, I believe consultation with a Chiari specialist is a must. Chiari can be progressive, so monitoring it should be priority. And currently there is no cure for Chiari. But at yours and your specialist's discretion, a brain surgery can be performed if your condition has reached a debilitating point. The surgery is not a cure. It basically is trying to give your brain more room and alleviate pressure. For some this works miracles, but for some they may experience a decrease in their symptoms for a while. However, it may start to progress again. Some may even be worse after their surgery, or they might be trading in symptoms for other symptoms. So many have chosen not to have the surgery and just to treat the symptoms with medications. Now, for all the reasons that I have mentioned, awareness needs to be made about this horrible abnormality. Further education within the medical field needs to occur so that a swift and proper diagnosis can be made and a proper treatment plan can be laid out. When one is first diagnosed with Chiari, it can be devastating, especially with the lack of information and support from your doctor. I found just recently that it is good to reach out to others with this condition for support. One group in particular that I actually found them through Facebook, is called the American Syringomyelia and Chiari Alliance Project. Their community, they're very caring for each other and very supportive. Like I said, I found them on Facebook, and they also have a website, asap.org. There you can also find an array of information on Chiari. More information on Chiari can also be found at conquerchiari.org, which is another great website that I found. I want to thank you for watching my video. Again, awareness needs to be raised. I will post new videos periodically on my channel in regards to all things Chiari. This is a battle we can win. So for now, share this video and spread the word on Chiari. Thank you.